It's a little tricky here. That's okay. We'll get there. Okay, looks like we're going live on Facebook. YouTube is not liking live, so we'll go live on Facebook and I'll just share it as a post on the YouTube and we'll upload the recording later. All right, hi everybody. Welcome to our live, and this is our bi-monthly event for Higher Circuit. And let me just expand this so I can see your messages. Oh, hold on. Let me take off that volume so I can hear you guys. There we go. Okay. So, how is everyone? Let me take a look at the messages here. Hi, Makayla. Welcome. So, go ahead, put a shout out, share the video with your feed if you guys want to share the video with your friends. Today, we are starting off the year with a panel discussion on what we're feeling and sensing coming into this new year, and maybe some really great tools to help us prepare for that spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally. Um, Anybody that wants to jump in at any time, they're going to go ahead and put their input. We have these incredible channelers. They're all here with us, and they will be channeling their higher self with their particular message for this time. So, welcome, and let's begin. I'm Geraldine Orozco. Hand it over to Bobby to introduce himself, and we'll just keep going around the room.
Hi, my name is Bobby Vasquez. I'm a biofield tuner from San Jose, California. You can find me www.biofieldtuningsj.com. I restore your energetic imbalances with the use of tuning forks and sound. Happy to be here. Happy New Year. On to Tammy.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Tammy Langowski, and I'm an intuitive advisor to your questions, working with clairaudience and clairvoyance. You can find me at tammy'sintuitive.com and on Facebook and Instagram, Tammy's Intuitive Services. Thank you for joining us tonight. Jill.
I'm Jill Stein, and I am a prenatal medium and a dragon master. And the best way to reach out to me is through the Higher Healing website. And Julie.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and I can be reached at bizpsychic.com. And I channel through the Akashic Records, and I give readings regularly, and I teach others how to do the work I do through the Akashic Records. And I'm also on YouTube. And I have cats all over me.
Great. Well, let's get started. I think what we want to kind of tap into and discuss tonight is, the shift in times that we're going through right now, which are tremendous. We are leaving a year of 2020 in which we were kind of blindsided, some of us, in how this shift and change was really going to manifest in the physical plane. That means everything that we knew, it somewhat stopped, literally stopped, and we had to find ourselves in that stillness that was occurring literally for everyone. It was really an invitation to go deep within and find ourselves in that. And so the thing is, how do we move forward now that things have reset in certain ways? It's almost as if there was a space, an opportunity for rebirth, for change, for now constructing from the ground up a different way of being, thinking, and doing things. And I'll just start right off by saying that what I see more than anything for this coming year is that we're coming into a place of understanding really what manifestation is. Manifestation from a place of where our thoughts are, where our emotions are in this present moment, and how we're creating every single next moment from where we are right now. So the thing is, where are we right now? Are we in a place of crisis? Are we in a place where we're falling apart, feeling disconnected and lost? Or are we taking the time to put together the tools to find ourselves? And in that, this finding the support necessary to come into this new expression in this new world. And a lot of people are in moments of redefining their careers, relationships, the way that they look at themselves, and how they're going to manage their lifestyle in the next 5 years, in which things are really shifting into more of a virtual playing field. And this is, unified government, financial situation, institutions, education. Everything is shifting to a virtual platform. And so, what does that mean for us? How do we carry ourselves, and how do we manage our emotions, mind, body, and soul through this transition so that we can integrate further? I'm going to hand it off to Tammy.
Well said, Geraldine. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, certainly a lot of my clients, and all of us are feeling a little bit of also like, gosh, what should I be doing next? I'm just like, what direction should I be going? Whether it's a career or relationships. And some of the messages I get are basically just, just to allow yourself to kind of chill right now, and not to actually have to make any huge decisions or to feel pressured that you need to go in a different direction, that this is a time, at least, I would say, I'm just kind of listening right now, I'd say a few months going forward, at least, to still be in that space of taking care of yourself. um, we want to remember that we are all resilient beings, and some of you may beg to differ on that right now, depending on what you're going through. But we are born resilient as souls coming into a lifetime. They remind us of the trauma of birth, right? We all, for the most part of us, have survived the trauma of birth. Let's just start there. They just said, right? Heartache. We've all gone through heartache, whether it's in relationships or losses. Yet here we are. We stand strong still in our space. So to remember that we are stronger than we know, that message has been coming through a lot for me, for, like I said, for clients, and just in general. Um, we can look back at the history of the world, right? Of things that we've gone through, and we've come out through it, and again, stronger for it for the most part. I understand every individual has their own journey. So I would say, be patient with yourself. That keeps coming up as well, to be patient during this time. Don't feel like you have to make these big moves of whatever they are. You are allowed to just be, and to feel a little uncertain. That in itself gives us time to talk to that uncertainty and understand more of where it's coming from. What is it doing for us? What is it bringing forth, bringing to light for us? So I think the main message that I have right now, at least from my guides, is really, again, this resilience, and stronger than to be patient. We are being helped along the way. Don't need to really emphasize that any more than you've probably heard many times. But spiritually, we are not alone through this. And really, what warriors we are, to collectively have decided to come into this lifetime at this time, to go through this amazing experience, which I use the word amazing somewhat lightly, because it's been very, very challenging for some people, and we respect that, and we know that. But truly, we're very courageous, aren't we? So hold on to that courage, because there will be shifts, as there always has been in the world, ebb and flow, and all that good stuff. I want to just mention too that I just put out a new channeled message kind of for the year. So if you're interested, if you're not on my email list, you can email me to psychicmom@sbcglobal.net. I'm happy to send that to you as well. Thank you.
That's really great. And I love that you brought up the analogy of birth. I think that's really something that's been coming up a lot for me in my messaging as well. This uncomfortable, what it's like to go through this, from this very safe cocoon womb-like environment into complete discomfort, and then learning how to adapt constantly, minute by minute, in that discomfort. And that's kind of like where we're at right now. We are being brought to face with all kinds of changes in the world that are really pushing us out of our comfort zone. But I think that what's happening outside is a reflection of what's actually happening inside. And I think that what we're moving into is the quantum field, how to manage and shift and change the quantum field from within, because we are this holographic projection. We are this engine of co-creation that from the subconscious mind we're projecting into into reality everything that we're experiencing. So wherever all the fundamental belief systems, emotions that you have in the background are the ones injecting into that experience. So what are you co-creating? Are you co-creating from fear, from doubt, from insecurities, and then nurturing yourself in those spaces, even when you are, instead of judging yourself in those spaces and saying, gosh, you're a failure. You keep coming into this pain. You keep coming into this anger, like you haven't learned the lesson. And I think that over the past month, that's really come up. We've had a lot of memories from the past that have really purposely come up to be healed because there are things that still haven't been addressed. Julie, what do you think?
Well, every lifetime we come to do relearn, learn, solve, resolve a lesson. One of the themes that has been showing up for my clients is that it's this theme of we're disconnected. We need to cut ourselves off from everybody because we have this pandemic, and yet how do we connect? Certainly we connect here, through the screen. This is our new way of connecting in this new virtual world, and it's not enough. We're not meant to do that. We're meant to connect physically and on a much deeper level with people, and that is not happening. So there's this constant disconnect and disharmony, and yet it goes right back to this: we are resilient, we can adapt, we can change, we can um, bring in new ways of dealing with this. And one of the themes that my guides have given over the months is that this time and into this new year, all last year, and as we moved into this new year, is a time not just of resilience, but of innovation, of creation, co-creation, and creativity. So use these new, they may be new to you as you invoke them and work with them, these abilities that maybe you didn't know that you had or didn't think that you had. And new novel approaches to reconnecting with yourself and with other people. We need to do that. We need to be connected. So reach
So
out to people even when you're not sure that you want to do that.
that's really great. So, in that, do you have any suggestions? Like, what does this connection look like? I mean, are we redefining connection? And if so, how do we get there with all the restrictions that are happening in the world? And I feel like we're going to be going more in that direction on a global scale. So, how do we connect with one another? Is connection a matter of physical connection, or can we connect in etheric plane, emotionally, or some other way?
I think it's all of the above, right? And we have to do that. We have to get innovative and creative about that. And this is just these virtual windows, if you will, are just that. They're new windows and they're new ways of doing this. There are going to be more innovation along this virtual connection, but it's here to stay. It is not going to go away. And of course, we can't procreate without being physically connected to people, and we will get reconnected physically with people. It's just we're missing it. So
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that our technology is going to be put in the pressure cooker where it's going to have to from there be born a massive advancement. I think that we're at a point of a major light speed jump in everything, technology especially, which is now coming to resolve the issues that we've now understood. And one of them is that connection. I think that nature mimics technology. I think that it's always trying to this inorganic matching the organic. So in my mind, we as the humans are the most advanced biotechnology in this multiverse that we're in. We are the creators of what's happening. So our technology is also advancing. Our abilities to activate our psychic abilities are coming here into focus, and we have to provide tools and work on developing that intuition, telepathic communication, astral projection, journeying, healing in that astral plane, and just bringing it home, with our connections with our families, being empathic in a way where we're both creating really healthy boundaries, but at the same time, serving ourselves, serving others in that circle as needed. Jill, what do you think?
I love that you brought up astral projection because that is something that I've been given a lot since all of this started happening and have suggested to other people because it's such a wonderful way to make that connection. And Julie was talking about the physical. And I think this is such an amazing opportunity for us to learn that it doesn't have to be about the physical. While we love that touch and we love to hug, and so many people are saying, oh my gosh, I don't get to hug my mom, and it's breaking my heart. If we can open ourselves up to realize that really we are all one, we're all so connected no matter where we are. And this experience of this sheltering in place is opening so many people's eyes to that fact because they're having to turn to other things other than physical. And people that never maybe would have learned that connection that can be had without actually touching are learning it. And they're realizing how much energy can be shared when we don't have a physical touch. We can still share the energy. It's all energy. And I'm loving that people are discovering that. It's just really great. And from a resilient standpoint, when we can feel into that and really start to have that energetic connection with people even when we're not together, and realize that you're recreating yourself. There's nobody out there that is going to be the same person they were when this all started. Your career might change, your friends might change. There's so much going on. We're rediscovering ourselves. And in order to do that, we have to let some of the old go. So if you're somebody that is struggling because maybe an old career did go away, or a relationship went away, maybe you lost somebody. Now you're going to be a different person without all of that. And knowing that that's okay and that served you during the time you had it in your life, and then clearing that space to open up to the new you. And just knowing that it's okay to be the new you, and not to feel bad about it, and not to grieve the old you, but embrace who you're becoming. And especially if you have had, I want to use the word blessing, to have been with people that are really going through this, maybe somebody that got sick, and people that are, there are people leaving this planet. I mean, I have had so many people within my close circle, not in the last few weeks, leave the planet. And to be there and to be able to support your fellow humans in those experiences and put a new light on it for people, so that they cannot think that they have to spend their entire being in sadness, but they can grieve, and we all grieve, but we also want to look at it in a new light. And this opportunity this year for everybody to look at everything in a new light. And minds are being opened. Minds and hearts are being opened because of this. And I'm just think it's so amazing.
Jill, that was excellent. And I'm so grateful for you for bringing up the topic of grieving and how to support ourselves in that process. Because one of the things that in this rebirth we're dealing with is learning, and over and over again, how to deal with loss, how to deal. And it's loss on many different ways. Identity is definitely a profound loss because we're having to rediscover who we are. From the metaphysical and multidimensional aspect of the multidimensional body, Bobby, what do you think about that? How do we support ourselves in that transition?
So much what I get presented with clients and in this time is so much of connecting with self, but being patient with that, the whole process of connecting with self. Obviously, we're going into a time and we're really want to connect with other people, and that's kind of impossible at times, or many times. So it's really going further within and connecting with yourself, learning with yourself. And that's also going to be helping with this grieving process, really getting to know who you are and not being disconnected, as Julie was talking about, through social medias, and just keeping us in this other plane, in this other thought, looking for those dopamine hits when we should be getting our own dopamine hits from within. So really, really looking at how we can go further into our own personal relationship with self and see what we can do to change and create a better relationship and a better self for the better future.
Excellent. And that's exactly the thing is we take it to the next step about talking about this spiritual resilience. This is where this comes into play. You know, be resilient about this, support yourself during this process. And Julie, were you saying something?
I
Please
was
go
just
ahead.
saying, I love exactly what Bobby said. That's so perfect.
Yeah. So how can we support ourselves? What does it mean to be resilient? We'll go with you, Julie. Go ahead.
Well, I think resilience comes from learning how to accept oneself, love oneself unconditionally, and be compassionate with yourself as you would with any of your friends, anybody around you. We obviously are the hardest on ourselves, and yet I think we strive so much in our lifetimes to find that unconditional self love. So once we find that, resilience is kind of a no brainer. It just happens. We don't even have to work at it or try. So bring it
Mm-hmm.
in, hug it out to self love, unconditional self love, and self compassion.
Mhm. Well, in that, creating routine, I think is really important. I think as humans, we're oftentimes with so much change, we're kind of overwhelmed because too many messages are being sent and it's overloading the system to the point where we kind of check out at some point. So I think having really healthy habits throughout your day is really important. One of the things that I've really seen with my clients is creating a really powerful, strong morning routine, spiritual morning routine. And there's an acronym that I'm created called Savers. One is silence, start the morning with silence, affirmations, visualization, reading, and writing. And scribing as in writing. And so if we could just take a moment to kind of adapt these kinds of things that really enhance, kind of full circle, take addressing all the parts of us, right? Scribing, you take a moment to connect with that inner self. You're developing that channel of yourself and writing through you things that are important for you. Affirmations, visualizations. One of the powerful tools is the word, because every single word is a vibrational frequency. So our intention is creating, it's the engine, the back end engine of creation of that word, but the word sends out into the universe messages. It's a resonance, it's an expression. Tammy, comments on that?
I couldn't agree with you more. That's perfect, Geraldine. Absolutely. I think routines are, first of all, routines are really important. And I know for this earth sign girl, I just love my routines. But I do think we need to have something that, every day that we are, whether it's getting in front of the mirror, I probably mentioned this before on one of our events, and, saying some affirmations out loud. Because I know there's other things you might have to do in the morning and some routines, that you might have to do. But I think that is important. So if you even can start out with what like Geraldine was talking about, which is fabulous. If you can't get some of those in, maybe you are just standing in front of the mirror and really repeating some really positive affirmations for you. That does set the energy. Absolutely agree with that. It sets the energy. It puts out a vibration of what is to be expected by what you speak about. So we often say that even if you're not feeling it, still say it. Say those positive things. Just force them out, if even if you are not really feeling it, because it really does have an impact, and it will shift your vibration, that thereby attracting that light vibration in. So I think definitely routine, and again, to be careful about, we've said it many times, is to any of the negative, stuff that's out there, right? We need to be informed to a degree, but not to overload yourself with anything, media, speaking of, anything that is a little too much. Your body will know. It will tell you when you've heard enough. Pay attention to that. and test it a little bit if you want. You got the news on? Start paying attention to your body. See when you start reacting, when there's the triggers. That's your sign, basically, to turn it off and shift your awareness to other things. I know for myself, I would agree again. I'm going to go back to the routine. I think that's just really important. I know it really works for me. If I'm feeling a bit out of sorts, getting back into any spiritual practice really is great, whether it's meditation, breathing, writing, doing your affirmations, really is such grounding energy. And we all need to be grounded, especially in these times. So yeah, find something for you that is routine like, that feels good to you. Practice it every day.
And I love that you talked about how media and external stimulation from technology is really truly something that is really draining for this source self, for this spiritual energy, the life force energy that we have. A lot of us are completely depleted because we're in front of a TV screen, in front of a phone, in front of a computer, how many hours in a day? So we literally just, the body becomes a host for all kinds of things to come in and interfere with your awareness, with your self-healing, your boundaries. So this is really important. And I'm gonna turn the question to Bobby, talking about, he knows about biofield tuning, he knows about frequencies. So can you tell us a little bit about the effects of this technology on our physical body, if you have any comments on that?
Yeah, there's so much, there's so much that can affect us in a negative way, whether it's the story that you're reading constantly, or whether it's the propaganda or the lies, whether it's the phone that you're using in your hand, draining energy from your hand, or the phone up in your face, draining energy from your brain. So there's so many harmful effects in the long run, just in the reality of the situation. You take in so much information, you're bringing in that frequency from all this negative news, the negative information, but you're also sucking away your energy from your energy field, especially if you're on a lot of Wi-Fi, if you're on your tablet, if you're on your laptop that's Wi-Fi, and maybe that laptop's on your lap. So any time you're within the presence of these frequencies, you're draining your battery, essentially. So just the way your phone has a battery. Go ahead.
Bobby, can you tell a little bit more about that? How does that happen? Can you explain that to us, just so we understand like what's happening?
Oh, well, what's happening is the frequencies that are being put out is affecting affecting us on a cellular structure. So it's really the way we have the way you have your cell phone and the way it drains things with the use, right? The way you pick up your phone, you're on it a lot of times, and you look at your phone and you see the battery running out. You're essentially running out your own battery, your internal battery with it. And the more you're around more frequencies and more because a lot of people have multiple frequencies. It's not just one thing. It's the phone. It's the computer. So you're surrounded by electromagnetic frequencies all around us, and these have a negative impact on our structural integrity. It reduces our field, our biofield energy that surrounds us, which is looked at as, for me, I look at it as your protection. So it will actually shrink it with scans. You can see energy scans, and you could physically see inflammation in the body after use of a cell phone. You could see energy leaving the body, essentially, as it's no longer around. So it's literally just draining you. The more you use it, the more you subject yourself to it. So you have a combination of I also feel that the combination of the EMFs with the negative news is being even more of a drain. So you're really doubling up on pulling energy from your body. So that's why talking about morning routines, I turn off evening routines. I reduce my body. There's words and there's thoughts that if you have a big energy field, nothing will hurt you. But I'm a fan of, let's not find that out, and let's have some prevention. Maybe turn off the Wi-Fi at night. Maybe not be on the phone all the time. Maybe have a hardwired connection. Maybe in the morning go out and get some sun and get that daylight in your eyes, even if it's cold, and put your feet into the earth and get that earth energy into your body. It's a wonderful thing. You can do some 10, 15 minutes, you got your grounding, you got your sunlight, and you have a little bit of meditation all in one sitting or one standing, however you like it. So really, I use a lot of those techniques for myself. Just as far as I used to be around a lot of EMF frequencies in a show business, so I really counter it. If I'm around a lot of EMF work or Wi-Fi, I might even drink structured water. I drink structured water on every day on a regular basis, and
Can
that's adding
you?
charge to your water. So
Perfect.
you can get something that treats the water. I'm gonna see if I have something right here. I use this thing called the stir wand, and it has earth materials ground up inside of it, and I can even share the information. It has earth materials ground up inside. You use this to bring water back to its natural state of electricity or of electric that you find in nature. See, water is really electric in nature as it's found running in streams in the mountains. When we clean it, we pull out all the charge of of um, of the water naturally. So when we do reverse osmosis, we really clean it. So we're bringing more charge into the body with this water. The body is capable of structuring the water on its own. But if you put structured water into yourself, now your body has all this free time and energy to do all these other things. So you have more energy, you feel better, you feel you know your skin looks better. You can structure your dog's water, you can structure plants water, and it's adding extra voltage, essentially extra charge. And that, if you were to actually physically look at a scan, an energy scan, you would see the energy shape around the body increase with structured water. So it's something that I've done tests with people where they've had a cell phone in their hand, and you've tested the person and you see an energy scan dip. The cell phone rings with the same person in the hand, it dips even more. They drink structured water with the cell phone in the hand, and it stays at a certain level. It doesn't completely dip all the way out. So it gives a little bit of that extra. We look at it as like the EMF protection. Silicon Valley, structured water all day. Just drink it, and you'll feel better. You'll have a lot more energy in life. So that's just one of my I tell that to all my clients and anybody I might even run into, even if I don't know you. I might talk about structured water because I find that it's very essential for this new age and this new world that we're living in, especially Zoom world. So
Exactly. Such perfect information and timely information. Thank you for that. We have a lot of requests for the link for that stir stick, so I think we're definitely going to want that. And but are we stirring any water? Is it sink water? Is it filtered water? You said a reverse osmosis. Where can we get that? Where do you think is a good place for most people to get that?
you could do reverse osmosis water. You could do spring water. They have findmyspring.com, and you could find a local spring in your area, and it's said to be filtered. Reverse osmosis, I'm a fan of that, just as far as being really clean, because some of the other filtrations, they're not as clean and they still have a lot of harmful chemicals inside them. So I would do reverse osmosis. You could even structure spring water, because spring water naturally, like if you buy spring water at one of the stores, Whole Foods or Sprouts or something like that, that has a lot of charge because it's naturally from the spring, but it's also been in a bottle, and it's also been sitting on the shelf for a few months. So we don't know how much charge that really has. So you get the stir wand, bring that in, stir it into the water. You would even have do something like that, and open containers that last for about 24 hours. And I think if you have it in a closed container, it lasts 48 hours charged. So I would stick with reverse osmosis and maybe mix in some spring water if you can, if it's affordable. Spring water is also costly. It's not as much as something like you want to some people can't afford it all the day. So reverse osmosis, you can get it from your local water stores, or they even have some cheaper machines these days, which is really awesome.
Awesome. We have some questions. Does 5D interfere with draining energy or the energy field?
You say 5G?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 5G definitely. It's definitely has a big. There has been a lot of fear behind 5G too. So I want to welcome the idea that 5G is not going anywhere. to the idea that, because there's a lot of fear behind 5G and what's it going to do for us, and they're going to harm it this way and that way. And yeah, it is going to have some negative effects. It's probably, they considered it, or they compared it to like microwave waves all around us, in the air, in the space, the way that what you get subjected to by walking in front of a microwave is similar to what's going to be around in the airwaves. That's what it's kind of compared to. So it definitely will have a negative effect overall. Um, who knows how it's all going to play out in this, but just be aware and be cautious, especially if you're concerned about 5G. If you get that new 5G phone, be worried about that, not have it on your person. These things, obviously, we're not, unless you're going to go back to a flip phone and completely disconnect from everything, you're still going to be using this stuff. You're still going to be needing it to connect with people, especially Zoom. You're still going to be needing to connect. So how do we connect, keep ourselves safe, and still have that energy and be healthy? By doing these little things, by turning it off or disconnecting, putting your phone in another room when you go to sleep at night, that kind of thing. It really adds up. It really adds up. So definitely 5G will, can have a negative effect, but there's too much money behind it that it's not going anywhere. So we have to learn to be more resilient within our bodies and our energy fields, so it doesn't really have that negative effect that we're afraid of, or that is so much fear in our head that it could do that.
Yeah, and I think the technology of the future is based on this 5G. It's all counting on this 5G to really hold up a network that I really don't think that we've actually even entered into. I think that we're about to enter into that, where it will support a lot of robotic, technology that's out, and looking at AI and also bio AI that we're kind of going towards in many different ways. So that's a really great advice, is to kind of slowly find and get into nature, find nature so that you can reconstruct the energetic multidimensional body, which in square spaces and homes becomes distorted. If you're in a house, in a square room for a long period of time without sunshine and nature, you're slowly moving away from that natural circadian rhythm of Earth, the toroidal field of planet Earth, which is your natural recycling system of the energy body. So we want to go out in nature and ground and connect with that. So we had a question about, what about DE food grade? That question, the previous question was by Cedric. Thank you, Cedric, so much for that question. And then Diona Crowder says, what about DE food grade? I'm not sure. What do you mean, Diona? What kind of food grade? Do you want to clarify that for us so we can understand? Very good. So, well, let's take it to the next step. So when we're talking about our careers and technology and trying to find balance in that, how do we apply this spiritual resilience to the changes that are happening in our career and how we're looking at economy and what we're looking into for the future? I'll hand it over to Julie, the business psychic.
Thanks, Geraldine. For me, everything boils down to boundaries because when I'm not doing the biz psychic work, I'm teaching other people how to set boundaries, and boundaries are the foundation for our lives. It's what gives our lives meaning and value. And if we're not living our values, we're compromised, and then things fall apart. So it really comes back to understanding what's important for you, whether it's at work or it's in a relationship or at home, um, uh, whatever context you want to put it in, your health, as Bobby just talked about. You have to determine what is the priority and then enforce that priority, because otherwise everything falls apart in our lives, and we're unhappy and we're in pain and things don't feel good and we take it out on other people. And yeah, so it's setting the boundary. It's
Yeah.
identifying what works, what's right for you, and what are your core values, and enforcing and living them.
That's amazing. And so, in order to find those core values, I think stillness, silence, meditation is really important because I think we're actually rewriting core values in a sense to really clarify. Because the world outside of us, in a sense, what we have been living in is kind of a lot of things have been inverted. They've been really mixed up, put upside down in a way where what we sometimes think is light or good for us, we kind of come to find out that it's not always in the highest expression for you. It's not something that's right for you. So we have to be finding what are the things that are right for us, as your spiritual journey, as your journey through your life experiences. So sometimes not having a career that you thought you were supposed to have, that change, it's something that's good. It's a blessing in disguise that brings you maybe closer to your family or helps you process some emotional blockage that you've had for years that you're trying to avoid by focusing on your career. These are the things that we're going to be seeing, and we are seeing already in this past year coming into this new year. So let's talk about energetic boundaries, which you opened up for us, Julie. How do we create energetic boundaries? That's a topic that I'm very passionate about teaching, and it really has to do with our awareness of our multidimensional body and how we're expressing that. I think that the root of all of our expression, energetic expression, is in the subconscious mind. So taking the time to understand what are these core values that you have. What does it mean to love? I think love is also being, in a sense, where we're clarifying the definition of love, because it's not a relationship, it's not an emotion. Love is this incredibly powerful creative life force energy that runs through us, runs all things, and we can only recognize that if we in ourselves are recognizing it within our own journey. So Tammy, I'll hand it off to you. Do you think that as we come into this big shift globally, what does love mean to us? How do we achieve that connection with love? How do we redefine that and embody that in a better way?
Well, what comes to me initially is just, again, it's funny you would bring that up and ask me that question, because love, love, love has been, something my guides have been talking about just recently, very much so. I think we are in times of where we're really needing to look at things as individuals and being very individual, and yes, setting goals, setting our boundaries, defining what's important to us. And I think we are, some of us are rethinking the idea of what is love, what is love. But as I say that, and as you were speaking of that, Geraldine, what I felt was just this universal love. And this is coming more into play right now, isn't it? Again, some of that is kind of obvious of what we're all going through, I think, collectively, but really it isn't so much about, you know does this person love me? Do I love them? It's such a universal energy right now of helping others. And what can we do to share that love with others? It's become bigger. As I'm saying this, I'm feeling it. They're really giving it to me that that's exactly what's happening. Is it's becoming, the idea of love and the definition of love is redefining itself, and it's becoming bigger, more universal. And they say that it in some ways, that, what's the word I'm looking for, they were looking for, it allows us, gives us permission not to worry about all that other stuff so much, about what others are thinking of us, or finding that perfect partner, or whatever it may be, but just more surrendering to the idea of what we can be doing for others right now. That message, again, I will say, has been coming through a lot in readings, just within myself, feeling more of that energy and that need to want to help others. Light workers certainly are being called, to the forefront right now, to be helping in that way, and we are happy to do it. We're all light workers if we choose to be, and we've all been light workers at one time or another in a lifetime, and in good deeds that you may do for others. So share, as I'm hearing, share the love with others. Again, don't be so concerned about conditions of love. It's all about unconditional love right now. Surrender to that. And of course, just what they usually say, please know that you're loved by all of us, and that this has never left the planet, no matter what's happening right now and how worrisome it is. That the love is very strong here. Love, conquers all kind of idea. So it is our perceptions. I think, Geraldine, you were touching, one of you were touching on that, the perceptions that we have and how we perceive things. So choose to interact with people, reaching out to them, helping them, being there for them. I wanted to mention too, when we were kind of talking about, like, kind of the virtual world we're in right now and how to reach out to others, they really are saying that we're needing and finding that we're needing to really get out of our comfort zone a little, aren't we? We're needing to really say, hey, I do need the help. And that's what is supposed to be happening right now. This is part of the lesson of all of this. So embrace it. Don't be shy. Reach out when you are needing that. And they're just showing me the chain of love, the paying it forward kind of idea. So that we should right now, doesn't matter what's going on, just focusing on that energy, because that in itself is very healing for ourselves and the planet.
I just wanted to add one quick tip for people. It's so simple. You'll wonder why maybe you're not doing it or haven't done it. But when I teach my boundaries class and when I work with people on their values, it's a simple question to really identify your core values, is just asking yourself what's most important to you about, and fill in the blank. What's most important to you about your job? What's most important to you about your relationship with your children? What's most important to you about your health? Doesn't have to be a long sentence, could be a word or two or a bullet point. And and then prioritize them, and those become your core, they are values, and oftentimes your core values, and you'll see where you're ignoring them. So I can't stress that enough. We operate from that perspective. That is how we make decisions in life, is from our values. So thanks for letting me
Ah,
interject that.
that's excellent. So let's take it to the next step of, I think one thing is that we're also learning, we talked about relationships and love. What about our children? I think our children, the way that we raise our children, also has to be looked at. I think the way that education has been, and the way that the children are interacting in community, I think all of that is also going to kind of be restructured from a new holistic perspective, which is so needed right now. Um, Jill, what do you see in the next coming year? I mean, as you look at this, how do we as parents implement this spiritual resilience in our parenting and hold space for them to grow?
It's so funny you brought up in our last 10 minutes you brought up this giant topic, but mostly what I I feel about this is the more space that we can give these children that are children now to express themselves and teach us, because this is a very new generation these children are so different than how children have ever been before. They get it. They get love. These kids that are in school now, you know, especially the ones that are allowed to be who they really are and aren't oppressed when they're trying to express their love, they embrace each other, they support each other, and they it doesn't seem like they're having to be taught this. It's in their inherent being, just like it really was with all of us, but there's something about this new group of kids that just know. So the more we can nurture that, the more we can let them express that and understand that while they're younger than us in this life, their souls could be way more advanced than we are, and they have so much to teach us, and they're here at this time for a reason. Because with everything that's going on right now, these are the kids that are going to come in and they're going to clean up the mess. and they're gonna take everything that's happening and how everybody's reacting to it, and they're gonna mold it into this beautiful new planet that we're gonna have when we come out on the other side. So not just parents, anybody that gets to interact with children, consider yourself honored and learn from them as much as you can and listen. Let them speak to you. Let them have a conversation with you, not just you viewing them as a child, but you also viewing them as a teacher. They can teach us so much. And when they see that you're genuinely interested, not just them as the earthly child that they are here, but their higher selves will see your recognition of that and their wisdom, and they will share even more.
Beautiful. That is the key word, is to listen. I love that. And I think 2021 marks the beginning of a new wave of children. We are coming into children that are off the chart, super connected, hybrid kids that are really connected to, they're empathic and they're super intuitive with both technology, advanced technology, and understanding science and physics in such an incredible way that is basically an expression of, you know, the design, the architecture of our world, of our universe, and how we see it, how we flow through it. These kids are so intuitively tuned into that. And it's like they run by this new laws, you know, these original laws of creation of the world. They already know them. It's encoded within them. It's encoded in all of us, but we go through so much programming, you know, being raised in this society, that we forget. And it's not until you reconnect with yourself that you begin to look at these laws and begin to apply them. So thank you so much, guys. That was amazing. And so
I want to
yeah,
can I
Bobby.
add? I wanted to add about the children. And just
Yeah.
be really open with compassion, and just they're experiencing a lot of trauma right now. So what is happening? There's so much trauma that they're experiencing and witnessing. So just be really compassionate. Be really open. Be there. Hold their space for them. Have that open ear, because there's a lot that they're witnessing that as children they've never seen stuff like this. So there's just a lot of trauma that they're experiencing. So be kind.
Yeah, that's an important point to make. To close our panel tonight, we want to close the topic of this spiritual resilience for 2021. I think the major message from all of us is that we, first of all, you know, take a moment to reconnect with your core values, establish those core values, and really revisit them, you know. And it really takes a moment to have some silence and connect with that. So make the time, make that morning routine. And in my opinion, spirituality, meditation, it's not something that you take time out of your day to go do. It's constant throughout your entire day. It's awareness, it's being in the present moment, so that the more that you allow yourself to be here now without thinking of the past or the future, it really will allow you to co-create and be in charge of what you're going to be experiencing every next moment. And I think 2021 will really be an expression of that. We are creating our future. It's almost like this little timeline of old stories is cut, it's done. Now we have to create, and we have an infinite possibilities from which to create from. That's where we're at right now. I think this is the year of 0 point. In a sense, we have to come back to ourselves, integrate our fragments, healing, cleansing, purifying, eating the right foods, drinking the right water, doing the energetic hygiene at the end of the night, cutting cords, you know, all these things. There's so many tools, and all of these healers here have an incredible perspective on that. So if you guys have any questions or want to get a session with any of these amazing healers, please do visit higherhealing.com to book a session, or you can reach out to any of their individual websites. And we just want to say thank you for joining us, and we love you very much. My website is geraldinarosco.com. You can reach me for a DNA reprogramming or hypnotherapy. And Bobby, you want to give your details?
Yes. Hi, Bobby Vasquez, Biofield Tuning, sj.com, www.biofieldtuningsj.com, or Higher Healing. Love to work with you, restore energy imbalances with tuning forks. Happy New Year. Good to see everyone.
Amy?
I'm Tammy Langowski. Tammy'sIntuitive.com is where you can find me. And again, Facebook and Instagram is Tammy's Intuitive Services. And I work as an intuitive advisor to your questions. Happy New Year.
Jill?
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, Tammy. This has been so much fun. I just love being on the panel with all of you. And, I love working with people and guiding them intuitively. But mainly my big passion is working with the dragons and helping you connect with the dragons and helping you learn how to help them help you in your life, as well as prenatal mediumship. So if you're interested in either one of those things, the best way to reach out to me and find my information is at higherhealing.com. It's HIRE, just like the website, and the Facebook page, higherhealing.com. So, Julie?
Thank you. And I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic, and my Facebook page. And ask me questions. I love to talk about the Akashic Records or channeling, or submit questions on my website, because I channel those questions once a month on my YouTube channel, in addition to doing my private readings. And Tammy and I are two psychic moms. we hope we're adding value by delivering our channeled messages once a week. And so you can find us at the number 2, well, whatever, 2 psychic moms. And so, yeah, you can always find us at Higher Healing. So I'm all over the place.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And once again, we love you, and we hope our next event is, guys, can you help me out with the dates? I don't have it in front of me. It's 2 weeks from now on a Saturday at 12 p.m. So please do reach out for us. It's going to be on the events page on Higher Healing. Subscribe, share with your friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we love you. All my love.
I know
Take
this.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.